Buying a house is the largest financial transaction most people will ever make, yet the back-end plumbing relies on a famously analog, disconnected infrastructure. The root cause of this friction is fragmentation. For years, real estate professionals have navigated severe app fatigue, forced to patch together dozens of different tools just to operate their daily business. This diagram illustrates the reality of that workflow. A single agent might use one isolated tool to generate a lead, a different one for their customer database, a third for marketing, and a completely separate system to handle escrow. This creates gaps. When critical data has to be manually transferred between software, time is lost, communication breaks down, and ultimately deals fall through. The industry has hit a point where manual workarounds no longer scale. Now, the biggest players in real estate are moving against this fragmentation, using AI and aggressive corporate acquisitions to build all-in-one ecosystems. The focus has shifted away from standalone, specialized apps. The priority now is building a single, seamless pipeline that handles a transaction from start to finish. To see how this consolidation looks, let's examine the daily routine of a real estate agent. Home Services of America recently launched a platform called Maestro to address exactly this. Maestro functions as a centralized hub, pulling consumer search, customer management, marketing, and transaction logistics into a single environment. The goal is to eliminate the toggle tax, the time agents lose logging in and out of different software, allowing them to focus on the actual business of selling homes. But software fragmentation is only half the problem. There is also the issue of time, which Inside Real Estate is addressing with their new mobile app, Streams. Think about the reaction gap. It's the dead time when a buyer signals high intent, like saving a listing or requesting a showing, and the agent finally responding. This timeline illustrates that delay. Streams uses artificial intelligence to detect those consumer signals the moment they happen. It pushes real-time mobile notifications and automatically updates the agent's database, which shrinks that gap toward zero. By removing the need for manual data entry and constant inbox monitoring, these platforms are shifting the agent's role. They spend less time acting as administrators and more time acting as proactive closers. Fixing the front-end software helps get a buyer to the finish line, but there is still the back end of the transaction, the manual and often slow process of closing and escrow. To bypass the limits of third-party software, some companies are turning to direct acquisition. Opendoor recently moved to acquire the closing and escrow services of the proptech company Doma. This diagram shows the pressure. Doma CEO Max Simkoff noted they lacked resources to scale both risk decisioning tech and hands-on closing operations. Partnering with Fannie Mae, Opendoor absorbed the operational side into their continuous pipeline. This brings the most tedious part of the transaction entirely in-house. By controlling the closing process directly, Opendoor can ensure it is faster and more predictable for the consumer. By absorbing the closing pipeline, tech companies are removing the final third-party bottleneck. This suggests that controlling the entire transaction lifecycle is the most direct path to increasing efficiency across the industry. Looking at the industry as a whole, the trend of unbundled, specialized apps is being replaced by something much more integrated. This creates a landscape where AI platforms communicate across the entire deal pipeline, and corporations aim to manage the process from the first click to the final handoff. For real estate professionals, staying competitive increasingly means working within these end-to-end platforms, rather than manually managing the friction between different tools. The ultimate goal of this technological shift, according to Opendoor's president, is to fix the core experience of homeownership. For the home buyer and seller, these integrations mean a move away from a stressful, disjointed process toward one that is streamlined and predictable. The result of these combined software and corporate integrations is a process where the friction of buying a home becomes effectively invisible.